Hello everybody, welcome to another edition of The Watch Collector. My name's Ollie. Today we're going to look at two very special editions from one brand. Before we get into it, the obligatory wristwatch check, and today I'm wearing the Kudoke K2 British Heritage Edition. We've got two pieces here from Konstantin Chaykin, a brand that I have been personally connected with for around 7 or 8 years. How? It was around that time, I think around 2017, perhaps a little bit earlier, that I first came across the original Chaykin Joker in steel. By that point, they were all sold out. I wasn't able to get an allocation. I did, however, manage to get an allocation for the Joker 2, which was in full titanium, which was released, I think, a year or so later. And a year after that, I got my watch. I also had the pleasure of obtaining a Joker Night Joker, which was a kind of playful take on the more nighttime antics of the character that the watch was supposed to represent. So I know what these watches are about. I think it's amazing what Chaykin has done. I've met him in creating a brand that is so unique and obviously his. And there aren't that many brands in the world, whether it's watches or elsewhere for that matter, that I think anyone who knows anything about the brand knows that is a Chaykin, and the Joker definitely does that. Of course, we know since then there have been many iterations. We've had a Dracula, we've had a clown, we've had a pumpkin, we've had a Despicable Me version, multiple different spawnings from those sort of humble beginnings. Today we've got two versions, and I've grouped them together this way, and it will become obvious as to why that is. We're going to start with the first one, the one that celebrates Halloween, or Hallows Eve as it traditionally was called. So I'm sure some of you know where Halloween came from, but I'll explain it anyway. The reason why the celebration is as it is today is because originally the Celts had a celebration called Samhain, and what that was the coming to the end of the harvest and the beginning of winter, celebrated on 31st of October. And they had a belief that at that point the lines between life and death effectively became blurred. So what they would do is they would have bonfires and cover themselves in animal skin in order to be able to ward off evil spirits. And so this is Chaykin's homage to Halloween. It's in bronze, 42mm case, as all Jokers are, and the cases are exactly the same size. So 42mm case, 13.7 millimeters in depth. I love the combination here of the bronze with the green, the striations from the center, the way they've used kind of the sunburst, both green and the gold, the orange for the eyes and the mouth is genius. Honestly, the colors, I really hope they come out on this because it looks fantastic. So I've given you the dimensions. What you've got is a heavily modified ETA movement in all Joker watches. So they give it the moniker K070, Konstantin 070, but the ETA movement is the 28242. Now, just because it's got an ETA movement in it, do not for 1 minute think that this is not worth the significant cost of this watch. It's been heavily modified, and these are special. You will, I can almost guarantee you will never see anyone wearing a Chaykin Joker. I've never seen anyone wear a watch like mine when I've worn it out. Simple. And I, as I said, I bought my Joker 2 in 2017 or 2018. In any event, it's a long time. I've never seen one. It's got 38-hour power reserve, and it beats away at 28,800 vibrations per hour. On the back, you've got a fixed case back for the Halloween version. And as you can see, it confirms that the case is bronze and the actual back itself is stainless steel. But honestly, I mean, the strap is top quality, really nice bolstering, and I love the contrast stitching. So let's throw this one on the wrist before we move on to the second. I should say that neither of these watches are aquatic watches. Do not take them anywhere near water. You're going to really struggle. The last thing you want to do is send this back to Russia to be fixed. I'm sorry, but how cool is that? It's the colors are just absolutely bang on. The way that the sunburst is perfectly judged. It gives this element of like reflectiveness, but at the same time is subtle. It's really, really top. This one, I think, is this is one of 88. So this is the same in terms of overall numbers as the Joker 2. Now we're going to switch it up a bit. So we've moved from 31st of October to the 1st of November, my birthday. Maybe this is the watch for me, who knows? This is the Calavera. This is one of only 20, and this is to celebrate the Dia de los Muertos, or the Day of the Dead, a Mexican festival. Now, a lot of people think that they are similar, and it is true that ultimately when the Catholics had their input, shall we say, on the Latin countries, and particularly Mexico, there was a conflation of the two ideas, but ultimately it is different. As I mentioned, it was the Celts celebrating the end of the harvest and moving into winter. The Day of the Dead is all about celebrating those that have passed. Why? Because they believe that they have simply changed form, and they are still with us, but albeit in a different form. And so the idea really here is to celebrate the Calavera, or which is either a skull, as you've got here, or could also be used to describe a poem. And I think, if I remember correctly, there's been a poem written about Donald Trump, which was shortly before he took office in 2016. Exactly the same dimensions as I've mentioned, 42 millimeters by 13.75, and the way that the watch works is precisely the same. I will use this one in order to be able to demonstrate to you. So you can see, as with all Jokers, you have the hours on the left eye, and the minutes on the right. It's just ingenious, and I remember when I first saw the Joker, I absolutely fell in love with its playfulness. And I should say that what I really love about these pieces, and in fact, actually, let me show you this one, because this will have a greater. This has got greater contrast for the moon phase. So you can see that the moon phase comes through in the mouth, and on here, because you have the greater contrast between the green and the orange background, you can see the moon much more clearly than you can on the Day of the Dead version. But it's just so much fun. But these come across, in my view, because of the colors, slightly, even though you don't think about it being restrained, it is restrained. It's very classily done. And the same with this, even though it's got electric metallic blue, and the same with the red, it actually comes slightly more restrained, and it comes across, I think, as a more serious watch. I'm a big fan of both of these, and I think, difficult for me to say this, I think I prefer them over the original Joker, for those reasons. But that's nothing, of course, nothing to take away from the specialness of that original Joker, because of course that's what set the trend for all of these different iterations. But these are very cool. Let's throw the Calavera on the wrist. It has a fun factor, but it's a bit more muted. as I hopefully is going to come out on camera. Both of them extremely cool. So that's the Konstantin Chaykin Joker, the Halloween version, and the Calavera, the Day of the Dead version, both created to celebrate two very distinct festivals in very different ways, and actually they have two different personalities as a result. I'd love to know what you think. Do you think that these are indeed, as I do, better than the original Joker, or as far as you're concerned, is the original always going to be the best? I'd love to know what you think. That's enough for now. We'll see you next time.